Hey guys, welcome back to Wolf in the Wild Survival. I'm Dave, and we're continuing the introduction to the 10 C's of survival. And what we have today is category number 3, cordage. 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 Cordage and cordage. Okay, so cordage is probably one of the more important things to keep in mind when you're dealing with the first, next to combustion. You can reproduce this in the wild, but it is very, very time consuming. Extremely time consuming. And there's kind of a skill set that goes into it as well. So, cordage is in the 5 C's because it is literally that important. Now, you could have it all hanked up into one continuous 100-foot length. Most of us, that's what we start out with, and then we end up with stuff like this here eventually. This is cut into, that's a 10-foot length, and these are each 25 feet. And that's kind of how we end up with things a lot of the time. This is 50 feet of sort of a diamond braid poly rope. It's a bush rope. It's pretty strong. It's great for, you know, a lot of things. I wouldn't necessarily want to climb on it. Yeah, workload 200 pounds. I'm a little more than that now. So, but the simple fact, I have at least 3 different widths of rope. Doesn't matter how many lengths you have. I have 3 different widths of rope. I have like a mason's twine bank line, kind of, I'm almost out, but it's relatively inexpensive at a hardware store. So I have the small rope. If I'm doing prusik knots, smaller rope onto the medium rope, it holds better. If I'm doing lightweight stuff, even though this stuff is actually really strong, if I'm doing lightweight stuff or just lashing things together, or, you know, I just, you know, going to use a whole lot of cheap rope, that's what I go for. Then I have the paracord. That's my medium rope. And, you know, I mean, this stuff is super strong. It does have a bit of stretch to it, but it's really, really strong. It's good, you know, bank lines. It's got all the strands inside of it, the 7 strands, which you could use for fishing line or stitches for first aid possibly, you know, kind of whatever. And this is my high visibility. This is my high-vis reflective, so at night, if you shine a flashlight onto this, it reflects really, really well. And this is my sort of earth tone, really blend in. It's really a matter of taste. You know, a lot of people don't want to trip over their lines all the time or whatever, and, you know, so don't pay attention to the color of anything. That doesn't necessarily matter. That's a matter of taste. Okay, so also there is the rope. This is basically my workload type stuff. My am I going to make a good long ridge line? Maybe a friend of mine falls, he breaks his leg. I need to kind of make a litter and lash him to it and drag him out of the woods. Things where, you know, you need something a little bit thicker, maybe a bit of a grip, or maybe like if you're lashing a friend of yours to a couple of logs, you're not going to do something too thin that's going to bite right into them. So it's in the case of emergencies like that, it is good to have some thicker rope as well. Now, also, where did my fishing line go? Fishing line. This is Cordage. This is 15-pound test, I think. It's not a very strong pound test. But either way, this is Cordage, and you can do an awful lot with it. Very, very thin as well. So for like on a first aid scenario, something like this doing stitches, this would be better than the inner 7 strands of paracord. Obviously, for fishing, you could, use this to assist in building a shelter or, kind of whatever. So never, ever, ever overlook fishing line. Dental floss is also another good one, multi-purposed, obviously. So, you could possibly replace your fishing line with dental floss, and away you go. So, cordage is a very important thing to consider, and you can't just, grab like one 50-foot thing and head off into the woods and think that you're going to be okay. You should have 3 different thicknesses of your cordage. Also, like various materials as well. You can have, say, your fishing line, you can have your paracord, and then you could have wire of, like a relatively smaller gauge that you can use for snares, for ridge lines, for, cordage, various tasks, whatever. That's actually, now that I think about it, I did bring it. So, snare wire, picture frame hanging wire, wire fishing line for, when you're trolling for the big fish. That's cordage, but it's also possibly a means to get food. It's, fairly strong, fairly easy to work with, especially if you have a multi-tool or something like that. So maybe even 4 or 5 kinds of cordage might be a good idea. It is relatively lightweight. It doesn't take up a whole lot of space. It's not a lot of space right there. So, and a lot of people like to wear those paracord bracelets as well. And what's that, like 10, 12 feet of paracord on a bracelet? You just unravel that and away you go. And, I'm not opposed to them either. So, that pretty much covers cordage for the most part. So, thanks for watching. We'll see you in the next video. And, you know what? Jute twine. I forgot jute twine. I don't have any on me anymore. I don't know what I did with it exactly, but jute twine is another good one. Not only because it is a fairly strong cordage, it's also relatively good to assist in fire starting as well. So don't forget jute twine while you're putting together your cordage kit. It's literally, you could go on and on and on about cordage. There's just so many, there's the tarred bank line and the waxed whatever line and this line, that line. It's all useful. It really is. You just, have to kind of figure out which ones you want to put in your pack. So yeah, there's tons of them I didn't mention. Feel free to, put what you like in the comments section, and maybe tell us why, and that'll help some of the novices when they're trying to make up a decision as to what they're going to include in their pack. So you have a great day, and we will see you in the next video.